I'm Vicky. I'm at Financial Trading Mastery Live, a two-day event hosted by Vince Stanzioni. I'm going to be chatting to some of Vince's students and attendees to find out how they're getting on and what they have to say about the Millionaire Trader Programme. Now, these are real students from all over the world, from different backgrounds, most of whom have had little to no experience of the financial markets before joining Vince. I'm also going to be catching up with some industry experts who are talking at the event over the next couple of days.
Two years ago, I took my pension that was being managed off the company that was managing it for me at very high cost and pretty low performance. And looking back 4 years ago, it's now double the value it was back then. So I'm so pleased that I did that.
Apple probably been one of my best ones. Boozen, which was a small Chinese stock, also doing well just now. But this today is giving me more ideas once I leave today going forward. Been a bit of a learning curve, but certainly enjoying the style of trading. And
the 15 to 16 dogs of the Dow were just amazing. So Caterpillar went up 80%, IBM went massively up. You know, the lowest kind of increase gain was about 20%.
They're very, very easy to use, and if you do get stuck, it guides you along the way. So I've known Vince for quite a while now, about 10 years. Yeah, and any time I've had a problem, yeah, he's been there. Not that I've had many, but he's always on hand.
Because of his advice, I deal with Schwab, and they put UK brokers into the shade. So so helpful and so cheap. He's accessible. That's what amazes me. You can email him, and you think of all these people, and you'll get a reply within an hour, you know, and you think, how's he managed that?
It's very good. I've looked at his past courses, and I was always looking forward to do his course live. I'm a novice, but I'm beginning to learn very rapidly. Very interesting, very straightforward, very simple, and the presentation's very good as well.
This morning is really impressive. I'm enjoying it very much.
I prefer this sort of one-to-one interaction where he's actually telling us about things, and I'm quite inspired by having a go to see what I can do.
Well, my research looks at how to be lucky and the way in which lucky people think and behave. And so what they're often very good at is being very flexible. Unlucky people stuck in a rut, they'll do the same thing again and again. Lucky people are, say, very flexible, open to opportunities. And so like good investors, if they see an opportunity, they'll go with it. If something isn't working for them, they'll drop away from that situation. And that's a really important life skill, because often we are creatures of habit. We stick doing the same thing even though it's not working for us. So it's those sorts of things that I'm more interested in rather than positive thinking of how you create your own luck.
It's all about the psychology. So you can take the world's best system, but if you haven't got your psychology right, you're not going to make any money. And what you need to really focus on to be successful is, when you've got a winning trade, can you hold that trade and let it run? Because most people can't, and you've got to learn what other people can't do in trading to be successful. And if you've got a losing trade, it's very, very easy to allow your emotions to take over and to hold on to that losing trade and hope that it turns around, when what you need to do is kill that losing trade straight away and just move on. And like I say, you've got to learn how to do something that, you know, most people can't actually do.
The key to investing is, you know, selling your losers short and letting your winners ride, and going against human emotions and basic human beliefs to not admit that you're wrong. So admit that you're wrong quickly, get out of the things that you're wrong about, and stay in the things that you were right about. I think that's the one thing that you take away from trading or investing. Learn from your mistakes.
Poker is a game where we have to make a decision every 90 seconds, a decision you can't abdicate, you can't procrastinate, you can't delegate. And what is a decision? When you break it down, it's just an allocation of a scarce resource under conditions of uncertainty. And so in poker, doing that, like literally every 90 seconds for 10 hours a day for 3 years, made me focus on the process. Like, why was I folding? Why was I calling? What are fear and greed? You know, in the world of business or life, when we're trying to remember someone's phone number and I've got to pay the gas bill, it all gets covered up, whereas in poker it's raw. And so all these studies, this knowledge, behavioural economics, the psychology of decision making, you can study it all in its elemental form and then apply that back to life, and you're better at it. I like to think of the brain almost as like a boardroom, right? Where we've got a decision maker who wants to go ahead, and we've got 12 old grey heads sitting around the table that we call the neocortex that are able to go, now hang on a second, I'm not saying no, but let's just consider this in the cold light of day. That is thinking about the decision-making process. And if we do that, informally or formally, we will make better decisions as a result.
I think biotech in the US is relatively cheap. The Japanese stock market in its entirety is cheap. You can just buy the Nikkei and make money, in my opinion. But you've got to watch out for the broad US market because it's expensive. And particularly the FANG stocks, the Facebooks, Netflix, Alphabet, or what was Google, are extremely expensive. Here in the UK, the consumer staple stocks like Unilever, Diageo and so forth are way overpriced. They're far too expensive. And so I would be sellers of those. And I'd look to smaller companies on the AIM market in the UK to make returns.
The playing field is much more level now than it was when I started. So no, forget about all this back in the good old days. Small investor can still do very, very well starting today. What you've got to do now, you've got to pick and mix a little bit. It's not a case of you just saying, oh, I'm going to buy everything. It's a case you've got to pick your spots, pick your moments. A lot of things like biotech, pharmaceuticals. What we're going to be talking about here at the seminar is about people living longer. Of course, they're also taking more pharmaceuticals, so that's a growth market, you know, living longer, the aging population. But I would say start with US shares. Now, before you say, oh, I don't know anything about US companies, do you know Starbucks? Do you know Apple? Do you know Microsoft? Ah, guess what? They're all US listed. So you know more about the US than you probably think.
The systems are very easy to follow, and so far today everything's going to plan as expected.
I think because it has so many different strategies that it gives you opportunities to try different things and see what works.
This is a tried and tested program, and I think that on the long run it's always a win game. So I think you can't do better than that.
It's a no-brainer really. Come and have a listen because Vince is the expert, and if they listen to what he has to say, I don't think they can go far wrong.
If I was going to do anything, I'd follow someone that's, you know, doing it themselves and making money. So Vince is at least a good starting place.
Everything in him was impressive. It's just the way he talks, the way he convinced people. There were a lot of people interested. There were some people there who know him and have done the course before, and so I just went for it.
I absolutely love it, just because really it's very, very simple. I generally overcomplicate most things in my life, and I'm trying not to do it in this sort of situation, and that's the one thing I really do like. It's very, very simple, easy to follow.
I work in the city, have done for 25 years. I think a lot of people like to think that they know more, or they're slightly better, or, you know, they have the edge, but I think Vince really is very generous just to give his advice away.
Don't be nervous. Do it. You'll never regret it.
So you've heard what everyone else has to say. Now it's your chance to be personally taught by Vince Stanzioni in the comfort of your own home. Up to you how you do it: internet, workbooks or online video. With all of them you will receive full training, remote backup and support. Go to millionairetrader.co.uk for more information. That's millionairetrader.co.uk.